Okay guys, a quick note on mixing your emulsion. In order to mix your emulsion, we need three things. One, obviously, will be a tub of emulsion, voila. And the second will be a bottle of powder form activator, which will come with your emulsion. This we will fill 3/4 of the way up with warm distilled water and shake it to dissolve it before introducing it to the main tub. And when we do, we will stir it up with either a wooden spatula or a plastic spatula. We tend to avoid using stainless steel knives or spatulas to mix up the emulsion because they can have a detrimental effect on the light sensitive properties of the emulsion. So step one is to take the lid off and have a look for residual unactivated emulsion and give it a wipe down. The last thing we want is, once we've taken all this time to mix it up thoroughly, is for a dollop of unactivated emulsion to drip into our tub. So wipe it down nice and thorough. It takes a couple of seconds. And the next step will be to grab our activator powder and fill it up 3/4 of the way with warm distilled water. So here we are with our tub now 3/4 of the way filled. The shaking commences. Now take some time to shake thoroughly because we need every single piece of powder to be dissolved. If you do not shake thoroughly and there are pieces of powder left in there, it can cause problems later. So take the time and give it a good shake. And when you think you've shaken enough, shake it some more. Also guys, it's worth bearing in mind that this should all be done under light safe conditions. Obviously, for the purposes of the video, we've left the lights on so you can see what's going on. But ideally, turn the main lights off and just go for your red or yellow light. So now the activator has been thoroughly dissolved in its tub, we will introduce it to the mix. We won't dump the whole lot in one go. We will probably put in about 1/4 of the activator and then, using our wooden or plastic spatula, begin to blend the two together. Nice and slowly to start off with so we don't get splashes, and drive the spatula down into the depths of the tub, into the very, very lower rim inside the tub, making sure we have removed or dislodged any unactivated emulsion and brought it into the mix. Nice thorough blending. Let's speed things up a bit. Okay, as you can see, the activator is starting to change the color of the emulsion. It was a pungent purple. If we add the rest of it now, it will change it into a luscious mucky brown. If you look at the froth or the bubbles on top of the mix now from the activated tub, that will reside inside the mix and can cause you problems. During the process of mixing emulsion, we cause bubbles in addition to the bubbles from the activator. And the only way to alleviate this is to let it rest. You should never mix up a tub of emulsion and then put it straight to screen. The emulsion needs to rest so all the bubbles come to the surface and dissipate. Let's speed things up again. Now the key to this whole process is to be thorough. Is to get every last piece of activator mixed in. As we come towards the end of the main mix, we will see not only has the emulsion changed color into that putrid browny mauvey yuck, we've also got air bubbles. Now the emulsion is going to be rife with them. If you look initially, there's going to be 1 or 2 on the surface, and you may think that's not too bad. But in the actual main mix, there are trillions. So we have to let the emulsion rest. Don't put the lid on firmly initially. We don't want that. Leave it askew to let the air escape. Pop it under the table or into a light safe room and let it rest for half an hour initially. Clean down your spatula, either with an old garment or run it under some warm water, and come back in half an hour to see how things have progressed. Okay, so this is the first check after half an hour, and as you can see, what we expected, millions of bubbles on the surface. This is a good sign. There's still more in the mix, so we jolt the tub and give it a tap to dislodge any other ones. Pop the lid loosely back on, and we'll put it back under the table for another half an hour or so. So this is an hour and a half after the initial mix, and as you can see, we have a beautiful, creamy, smooth, bubble-free emulsion, and that is what you want. There is a small globule of activator in there, which is not a problem. We just have to gently, very gently, mix that into the top layer of the emulsion. If we start going mad with the spatula now, we will cause more air bubbles, and we don't want that. So just gently mix it in just to get rid of that last piece of activator, and we are almost good to go. Scrape off any residual emulsion from the spatula. And importantly, don't forget to wipe the rim of the tub down. As I said before in the other video, if it's allowed to dry, it will flake, and the flakes will drop into your tub, and your emulsion will carry debris, and we don't want debris in the emulsion. So once that is all cleaned up and the lid can go back on nice and firmly, keep it stored as the manufacturer recommends in a nice cool place. Make sure it's out of harm's way where it won't get knocked, and you're good to go. Okay, a quick recap. Always use light safe conditions. We haven't for the video, but it was just so you could see what was going on. When you fill your activator, 3/4 fill it with warm distilled water if possible, and use a wooden or a plastic stirrer to do your mixing with. Try and avoid stainless steel because it can have an adverse effect. Once your thorough mixing has taken place, allow the mix to rest for at least half an hour initially to let the bubbles come to the surface, and let it rest some more. It should take about an hour and a half, and you should be good to go. Always wipe your edges clean before putting the lid back on, because if you don't, the emulsion can dry and flake on the inner edges of the bucket and drop debris into your emulsion, which is a bad thing. Alright guys, I hope it's been helpful. We're all done. Thank you very much for watching.